Well, this will be a first. In today's episode, I'm going to be taking a look at a Star Wars fan fiction. The fan fiction in question is called Smuggler and His Jedi Family by Matt Rogan. This is the brother of the person that wrote that Be My Star-Lord fan fiction, which apparently that person was 17 years old at the time that he read that story. So, obviously now he's an adult. Matt Rogan here, he has made several requests in the past, and I have done his requests in the past, and he already made a comment that this story is probably going to be on the chopping block, and the fact that the creator, is having me read this out loud is a telling sign, to say the least. So this is a summary. Before Captain Kim Rogan arrived to Old Mantell, he called his check on his parents to see had they are doing. What? Check on his parents to see had they are doing. Had they are doing. Did you mean to write how they are doing? How did you mix up the word had and how? And doing. Doing. And doing. This is why you check your spelling and grammar before you post on the internet. So Matt, please, dearie, go in and fix this after this review. Thank you, unless you deliberately wrote this like this. Well, this was actually written back in 2014, so it's an old story, so, if it was written back in 2014, then don't worry about that then. So, okay, rated T, it's an English humor family. The characters are Kara C, Jedi K, Smuggler, and Doc. Not really familiar with these characters, I'm afraid. And it's 1,100 words, and it was published back in 2014, like I had stated before. Right, let's get started with this. A.N. I decided to give this Well, are you going to continue that thought? I know this was written back in 2014, but still. Oh, here's the rest of it. I didn't realize that this was part of the author's note because it's not bolded anymore. Old one-shot I had on another website I was on. Link be in profile if you care. I fixed some spelling and grammar mistakes. Enjoy the story. Well, apparently you didn't fix them good enough, I'm afraid. Captain Kim Rogan is on his ship, sitting in the captain's chair, drinking a bottle of wine and looking at a... Okay, why is the sentence in bold? Why is it bolded? Why is it bolded? Star in space. He is heading to Old Mantell to deliver a cargo of weapons. He senses this may not be good well as he plans it, and Kim's family has always had to get in trouble. Okay, I need to pause this so you guys can see exactly why this layout is just take a look. Yes. Technically this is more legible than the block of text in past stories, but it's still very hard to read because it's like sentences are being separated in the middle of sentences. And then you have the weird bolding, on and off bolding that was like the author's note, and then the story. And it's just coming off as very, very, just very hard to read and very sloppy looking. Right, let's continue to read. Where did I leave off? Oh, here we are. Dad always knew nothing will turn out well as we plan, and being the son of a Jedi Master is only get me in trouble, said Kim, chuckling at that and taking a sip from his wine. Kim's parents were both Jedi. His dad is a Jedi Master and his mom is a Jedi Knight. He knew something about the Force. They had a line break between the F and Force, so it just says F at the end of that first sentence, and then Force at the start of the next. But he trained as a gunslinger, which means he carries 2 blasters on him instead of 1. Why is the C in carries capitalized? And why is the B in blasters capitalized? Don't do that. He is always ready to help those in need that can't defend themselves, and that is why Kim no thug like people seem to think he is. Kim has not heard from his parents in 2 weeks. He is worried about his parents. They may be Jedi, but they can still get killed out there. That should have been 2 sentences. I should call them to make sure they are right. I won't be on Ord Mantell in at least 3 days anyway, said Kim, getting up from his chair, putting his drink, and going down to call his parents. Kim is making calls to his dad. In a few moments, there was some pick up, and to Kim's surprise, it is his Uncle Doc. Take a look at this. If you have the word it's, then you do not need the word is. Because without it being it's, it would say, it is his Uncle Doc. Get rid of the is. Hi there, kid. What could old Uncle Doc do for you today? Said Doc in a funny tone that Kim found funny when he was a child. Doc teaches him a few things about flirting with women. Much to Kim's mum disapproves of Doc, and with a blaster. Kim always loves Doc's story as a child. Nothing much, Uncle Doc, just checking in with my parents. Can get them for me. Asked Kim, crossing his arms. Doc looked at me for a few seconds and then rubbed the back of his head and said, Matt and Care are busy at the moment, but I go get them, and if Mum tries to kill me, you are taking the blame. Kim helps but laughs and says, Kim helps but laugh? What? Kim helps but laughs? What? Oh my bloody God. Good thing on another side of the galaxy then it is. You know what? Fuck it. I'm reading the rest of the story like bloody Yoda because that's how the story is coming across.
Laugh it up, boy, said Doc in sarcasm tone, and then went to get Kira and Matt. In a few minutes, Kim coo and hear the scream of his mum and the sound of a lightsaber, and hearing Doc running like hell for his life and back on hold call. Matt and Kira will be with you in a few sec, said Doc, catching his breath. Don't do that again, kid, or this galaxy will go down one less Doc, and there only one of me, said Doc, aggravation. Kim laughed at Doc and said, Don't, Uncle Doc, it won't happen again. Doc looked upset at Kim for a few sec, but then clammed down and said, All right, I let this one go. Doc left, and a few minutes later his dad showed on holocall, just with shorts on and a t-shirt him. All right, boy, this better be good, 'cause your mom kind of upset and almost killed Doc, said Matt with arms crossed, not happy with his son. Sorry about that, Dad. Let's just wait for Mom, okay? Said Kim, looking guilty at his dad. A few minutes later, Kira appeared on holocall, wearing a long shirt, reaching to her knee, and anybody can tell clearly that this is one of Matt's shirts, and Kim can tell his mom is very upset with you. All right, Kim, this better be good. You have no idea how it is for Doc to come and interrupt us, said Kim, angry at her son. Sorry, Mom, but I'm just checking up on you both because I was just worried about you both, said Kim. Kira and Matt looked at another, and then Matt signs, and said, We are sorry about that, Kim. We should have known to check on your old man and Mom. Makes no sense, that does not. Don't say you are afraid. I'm just as old, Matt. Then you make me feel old too, said Kira, chuckling. And don't worry, I don't think old yet, Dad, joked Kim. Matt could not help but chuckle at his son's joke, and Kira also chuckled and said, You better rethink that, or I come to other side of the galaxy and give you a kick butt, your young man. Matt said, We find Kim. Don't worry about us. Put an arm around Kira and then asked, How are you and Ship, my boy? I am taking good care of her, Dad, and I'm fine too, answered Kim to set his parents' mind at ease. I don't like the trip. Ord Mantell, you are going to just Warzone, said Kira, worried about her son. Don't worried about me, Mum. I can take of me and have force training to keep me safe, said Kim, trying to set his mum's mind at ease. I know you, Kim, but that does not mean your mother can still worry about you, said Matt, knowing Kim is trying to keep his mum from being worried about him, and held Kira closer, and Kira put her head on his shoulder. I know you both. Do I be? Fine, okay. Made force with you both, said Kim, and could not help but add in, I let you both get back to what you are doing. Kira and Matt shouted together, Kim! And then Kim laughed very loudly. Kira said, I blame Doc for this. I am going to talk to him right now. With that, Kira ran out of the call, and Kim and Matt looked at each other. They both knew what Kira was going to do to Doc. May the Force to Kim, cause Doc going to need it, said Matt with a hand on his forehead. An ending hollow call ready to stop Kira from doing something bad to Doc. Kim knows his mom and Doc never got along, but does try to get along with him and his sister when growing up. He went back to the deck of his ship and sat down on his chair and began to drink more wine and looked at the star of space. Well, let's see what old Mantell got for me, said Kim as he took his drink and laid back. Atrocious this story was. Needs to be rewritten indeed.
Right. My God, that was probably the worst Yoda impression any of you have ever heard, and I do apologize. But after a while, it just felt like it was bloody Yoda writing the story. I mean, again, this was written back in 2014, so I'm assuming Matt was probably a child back then too. And, you know, he was aware that this was probably going to be on the chopping block, and I can see why the creator had me read it out loud. I do not understand what was going on in this story at all. Like, it was the layout of it was so atrocious, and some of the dialogue, even without the Yoda speak, just made absolutely no sense. I mean, it really did not make any sense. I mean, I'm curious if he's written any other stories, any more recent stories that are better written than this. Okay, why? I don't know if you guys have the same issue too when you go on fanfiction.net, but no. No, this is his most recent story. He's only written 3 stories. All of them are Star Wars. And yes, so he hasn't written any recent stories. But anyway, as I was saying about fanfiction.net, I don't know if any of you guys have come across this issue either, where you go onto fanfiction.net and it's like an infestation of bloody ads all over the place. Like in the middle of the story, you go to click on fanfiction.net, it has this bloody pop-up, and it's like, I just want to read a bloody fanfic. I digress. Well, thank you all for watching today's episode. If you liked it, please be sure to leave a like and leave a comment. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I would greatly appreciate it. I'll see you on the next episode. Until then, cheerio.